Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So as you guys probably know, Battlefield Labs went live today. The first playtest for the next Battlefield game actually took place, and there are so many leaked footage from the next Battlefield game. Considering it's in pre-alpha, well, it's got so many glitches, so many bugs right there. You can see them in the footage, but I just went on and watched all the leaked footage with a friend to be able to analyze what's going on in the game, to be able to take note of the things that are new to the game or maybe not even new. Just good features, bad features, and things you guys need to know as people who did not get to play the next Battlefield game in today's playtest. So I can't actually show you any footage. All the gameplay here will be BF2042's gameplay. You guys probably know it's for security reasons. I can't just show you the leaked footage. This is a disclaimer. I haven't been able to test the Battlefield game myself. I have not played the game at all. I've just watched the leaked footage, and now I'm telling you everything you need to know about the next Battlefield game based on all the footages that leaked online. So without further ado, guys, let's just go ahead and see what we've got here. So first of all, the game is a lot more grounded. There's no tactical sprint really. I haven't seen in like 10 minutes of leaked footage any sort of fast running or like tactical sprint, whatever you want to call it. I didn't see that. So the game is a lot more grounded compared to 2042. If I want to tell you how grounded the game is, it's probably something between Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, something like that. So somewhere along those lines sits the next Battlefield game. Throwables feel like COD, at least to me. It's like the throwing animation looks a lot like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, something like that. But apparently there are two options for throwing a grenade. First of all, you can just go ahead and throw it quickly. That way you can't actually reach a lot of distance with the throw. It throws it just a few meters ahead of yourself. But if you go ahead and hold the throwable button, you can actually throw it a lot further. In leaked footage, I've seen infantry fighting vehicle that looked a lot to me like the Bradley. It looked a lot like the Bradley. I can't say for sure, but there are IFVs in the game, and also main battle tanks are there. Deploy screen gives me a lot of Battlefield 4 vibes. Unfortunately, I just can't show it to you because, well, it's leaked footage. It's going to shut down the video, but it gives me a lot of Battlefield 4 vibes. There is also a POV of your squad mate that you want to spawn on, so you know exactly what they're doing, who they're shooting, all that kind of stuff. It reminds me of Battlefield 4. That was the last Battlefield that I saw that in. It just feels good to see that back into the deploy screen. The deploy screen, in my opinion, looks absolutely neat, but we're going to talk a lot more about the deploy screen in just a few seconds. So people in chat were speaking about some game problems in the leaked videos. They were talking about some mouse sensitivity problems and the game being locked at 30 FPS. I don't think that's a big problem since we're pre-alpha. The game is not probably ready to be play tested in big scales, and those things actually happen, so that's no big deal. The squad management looks totally like 2042. You can lock the squad, you can kick players, but the format and what it looks like completely looks like 2042, which is not something bad. I don't really have anything against how 2042's squad management looks like. Not what you can do with it, but the looks are fine in my opinion. The destruction actually feels way better. In one part of the leaked footage, some guy runs a tank into a building. The building completely falls down. Not completely, but the majority of the building actually falls apart. And in one other part, some dude shoots an RPG at a building. The destruction is awesome compared to 2042, compared to even Battlefield 4, maybe even Battlefield 1. The destruction is great, but you know, the animations of the building and the walls collapsing can be actually better. Again, the game is in pre-alpha. It will definitely get better and improve as time goes on. What I've seen from the destruction, it was great. I saw a weapon very similar to Beretta ARX 160. You can now see the picture for it. I saw something like a CZ Bren. I don't know if it was CZ Bren 2 or 3, but it was definitely a CZ Bren weapon. There's a Glock, some sort of Glock pistol. There's also a P226 pistol as well. I've seen the SIG MPX SMG. Also, you have the M320 high explosive and M320 smoke grenade as well. There was some sort of AK weapon. I don't really know what kind of AK it was. Just based on what I've seen, it was some AK magazine thing. I wasn't really able to tell what model exactly, but the magazine was definitely some sort of AK magazine. Also, I've seen an M249 SAW. That was one of the LMGs that I saw in the game. The Chris Vector as well. These are the weapons that I do believe I saw in the game. So generally speaking, for a pre-alpha game, the weapon diversity was great, in my opinion. At least based on the leaked footage, I've seen so many weapons. So honestly, that was good to see. Uniforms looked way better and more realistic realistic. I've talked about this before in the 10-second official gameplay that EA actually released. But yeah, even in the game, the uniforms look a lot more realistic, and that's a good thing for Battlefield players. There's also some form of sliding, but it's not as aggressive as 2042 sliding, which is good. As I said, the game is a lot more grounded compared to Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 2042, and it sits somewhere between Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1 movement when it comes to movement speed. TTK is way better, in my opinion. It feels on point. Sometimes you feel like people die a lot quicker in 2042, but in the leaked footage, it looks fine. At least that's what I've seen. Again, you can see teammates POV while you're in the deploy screen, which is something from Battlefield 4, and that is really great. I really like to see that back, and that's definitely something positive in the deploy screen. And according to people chatting in the leaked footage, support actually gets the defibrillator. So just like 2042, support class is the class responsible for reviving teammates, right? That was not the case in Battlefield 4. In Battlefield 4, assault class actually had defibrillator. So that's something similar to 2042. Visual recoil based on the leaked video feels weird. The dude that was played with a gamepad, which is not ideal, especially if you're on PC. As long as you have mouse and keyboard, I think it's stupid to play on controller, but you know, whatever. I've seen some other dude playing Chris Vector and he was doing it all right. The recoil seemed way more stable looking at his footage, but generally speaking, for the leaked footage, I do believe the visual recoil kind of feels weird, but I don't know really. I really have to test it myself. I really have to play the game myself to be able to, you know, give some sort of a solid opinion about it. So based on the leaked video, you have two gadgets. You can actually pick two gadgets based on whatever class you're playing. So every class definitely has its own gadgets. I've seen drones in the game. I've seen some sort of jammer or maybe motion sensor thing on engineers. There's just so much information in these leaked videos, and it really needs a lot of like focus really to be able to kind of extract all the info from these leaked footage. So again, two gadgets. It doesn't matter what class you're playing. You can have two gadgets. Now what these gadgets are probably are directly depending on what class you play. Definitely classes have their own gadgets. Now I've got some good news for you guys. We have field specs, which are exactly field upgrades from Battlefield 4. Now I don't know what things they do, but it appears that we do have field upgrades from Battlefield 4, but now they're called field specs. And again, just like Battlefield 4, you have 4 levels. As you play and as you progress through the match, you can level up your field upgrade and you will be able to unlock some more abilities based on your class. Also, apparently you can save your loadouts. In the leaked footage, you can see some sort of loadout thing. It's like Assault 1, Assault 2, Assault 3. It appears to me some sort of loadout for Assault class. Definitely your loadouts for different classes will be different there, and you can probably have a few loadouts pre-saved for every single class, which is something great. Now, I have bad news for a lot of Battlefield fans. Apparently, you have suppression. And I've never been against some good level of suppression. In my opinion, it just adds to the realism. You're being shot at from like 4 directions, and it's not really cool to look at the monitor and see nothing change, you know? There has to be some sort of grounded, being under fire suppression feeling that kind of makes you go in depth, kind of makes you feel in the moment when you're playing the game. And not something like Battlefield 3's suppression. It was really over the top, but something like Battlefield 4's suppression, in my opinion, is great. However, what I've seen in the leaked footage wasn't exactly that. It was some sort of motion blur thing, more of a motion blur effect rather than a suppression effect, like the edges of the display getting darker, some sort of Battlefield 4 suppression. It wasn't anything like that. It was basically some sort of motion blur effect, which isn't good. In my opinion, that is where developers need to actually spend some more time and improve upon. Also, Assault class has a gadget called the Medpen. You guys all know it probably. And now it gives you blast and suppression resistance. So apparently it doesn't heal you. Maybe it does. I don't really know. But this actually confirms that there is suppression in the game. However, if you just inject this Medpen into yourself, it's gonna make you more resistant against blast and Suppression. So that's for Assault class, meaning that Assault class might take less damage from explosives and might get less suppressed when using the Medpen for a small period of time, probably 10 to 15 seconds, something like that. I don't really know. I'm just guessing, right? Now, I noticed something else as well. The vehicle's ammo isn't unlimited, like 2042, like Battlefield 4. It's not unlimited, okay? Just like Battlefield 5, you need to go ahead and resupply your vehicle. This is probably also the case for air vehicles as well. But for tanks and IFVs, there are just resupply stations that you have to go there, stop there, resupply your tank, your IFV, whatever you're playing, and then go back into the battle. So that is something you should also know about the next Battlefield game. Also, as you're contesting a site or as you're going into a site, the contesting area of the site is actually highlighted for you and you can visually see the bounds of that site. So as you go out of that bound, you're not contesting the site anymore, and as you go in, now you're contesting the site. That's something really good for the new player base because they're not really used to Battlefield mechanics. They don't really know. So that being there is fine, but in my opinion, it just makes things crowded. So I'd be really happy to see that option to just turn it off. You can go ahead and turn that off in the options. That's going to be great. So reviewing what I've seen in the leaked footages of the next Battlefield game from today's playtest, in my opinion, the game looks a lot more grounded compared to 2042 and Battlefield 5. It sits somewhere between Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1 when it comes to movement speed. In my opinion, the HUDs in the screen are too crowded. Honestly, I appreciate the option to be able to either turn off some of the HUDs and also be able to kind of lower the size of those HUDs, remove some of them so you have a clearer, more crispy picture as you're playing, and there's not a lot going on. That was something that I really found bad about Delta Force. It was something that really bothered me about Delta Force, and the HUDs in Delta Force were actually necessary to be able to play the game, and it was really crowded. For me, coming from a Battlefield game, Delta Force was too over the top with HUDs, and I don't really want that to happen with the next Battlefield game, or at least I need to be able to turn some of the HUDs off and lower the size of some of them, so I'm gonna have a better picture quality. So I hope you guys enjoyed and hope this was helpful. Do make sure to go down in the comment section, let me know what you think about the things I've noticed in the leaked gameplay. If you've watched the leaked footage and I'm missing something, do make sure to comment down below and let me know, and I'll be glad to know what you guys think about today's playtest. Just generally speaking, what do you think about the next Battlefield game based on what we know right now? Again, thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, stay cool.